interrupt this program for a breaking news alert.
The United States to the vehicle city.
The president is meeting all day with people affected by the crisis, as well as the leaders tasked with bringing it to an end. President Obama landed just before noon this morning and has been making his way around the city.
And he is ending his speech at Northwestern High School, ending his day, that is, with a speech at Northwestern High School. Governor Snyder did speak just moments ago. He was welcomed by boos from the crowd, and he said he apologized for what happened in the city of Flint. Right now, Congressman Dan Kildee is taking the podium. Let's listen in.
And so it breaks my heart, as I know it does yours, to see what has happened to our community. What is worse is that we know, those of us that were here, that were eyewitnesses to what took place, this did not have to happen. This was a man-made crisis. We did not do this to ourselves. This was done to us. An emergency manager from somewhere else came here and made choices that had more to do with dollars and cents than with the health and the life and the future of our people. And that's wrong. And even when it first came up, there were citizens who spoke up. There were people who came to this community and looked at this situation. Their facts were denied. They were discredited. And that was wrong. That was absolutely wrong.
And we all know that Flintstones are resilient. We're resilient people and we're strong. So I'm asking you to hang in there. Continue to be strong. We didn't deserve what happened here, but we do deserve the resources to fix it. And I promise you that I personally, along with my team at City Hall, won't stop working and fighting until we get all that we need for the citizens of the city of Flint. We will not stop. I want to thank all of you all for coming out today, and I want to thank the president for standing up with us and standing up for us. And I am the last speaker, so the next one, not right behind me, but will be the president. So thank you all for coming out today. I think that him coming, I hope this is something that gives the residents of the city of Flint some hope and uplifts our spirits and lifts us emotionally and mentally. It lets us know that we have not been forgotten. Our voices have been heard. When we stand together, we stand strong. And when I was in Washington, the president said he had our back then, and he has it now. And I think he'll deliver that message to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, you're listening to Flint Mayor Karen Weaver at Northwestern High School talking to a crowd today who's anticipating President Barack Obama, who is going to take the podium and address the crisis in Flint. She said that this problem was much bigger than Flint and they couldn't handle it themselves, so they called on the state and the federal government to fix it. And she said that they're working to replace every lead pipe in the city if the city had the $55 million to start the Fast Start program.
And of course, she pressured people to approve that program because it's $55 million, and that could definitely help Flint spur these repairs that are needed. She said, we did not deserve this, and we need hope from the President of the United States to make sure that Flint and its residents are not forgotten. Now, she was one of several people who have already spoken today. Governor Snyder took the podium to boos, actually, earlier, and he was followed by Congressman Dan Kildee.
Yes. And Kildee said Flint is a strong community. It just needs the resources to come from the state and the federal government. And he specifically said from the folks who did this to Flint. And then following Congressman Kildee, we heard from Senator Debbie Stabenow. She said the entire country is tuned into this crisis, and she wants the people of Flint to know that they are not alone in this crisis. And it was not the fault of Flint residents for what happened here in Flint. And those responsible will be held accountable. And as we know, 3 men, as of today, have been charged already for their role in the Flint water crisis.
And those 3 men, Stephen Bush, Mike Prisby, and Michael Glasgow, are the first 3 who have been charged in the Flint water crisis. However, as the Attorney General has said, there will be more. He's promised there will be others who are charged in this crisis. Going back to Stabenow, she and Congressman Kildee both touched on President Obama's needs and his efforts to expand health care and Medicaid to Flint residents, as well as expanding access to healthy food options throughout Flint. Congressman Kildee specifically said, Flint is a strong community. We will get through this. We just need the resources from the people who did this to us.
Now, before all of them spoke, as Meg mentioned earlier, Governor Snyder did take the podium. Now, he was welcomed with boos from the crowd, and he kept his speech very short. He just apologized when he took the podium, and he said that this crisis would be fixed, and which followed more boos from the hundreds of people that are in attendance today. And what was interesting was there was a lull between Governor Snyder speaking and the boos before Congressman Kildee took the stage, which to me would indicate that they are trying to separate themselves from Governor Snyder, who spoke and was welcomed with all those boos.
Now, of course, President Obama is not the first person to come visit Flint. Over the past few months, we have seen so many people pouring their hearts out, opening up their wallets to help Flint out. I mean, we've seen actors, Mark Ruffalo, the U.S. Surgeon General, Governor Snyder, the Pistons players, Flo Rida, Snoop Dogg, Cher. The list goes on and on and on, because people like Debbie Stabenow was alluding to, the mothers, the fathers who have to watch their children go through this, who have to bathe their children in bottled water, who have to rely on bottled water for cooking, cleaning, brushing their teeth. And some, like Little Sincere, who was on the cover of Time magazine, some of them are developing these rashes that they think are tied to the Flint water crisis. So to these mothers and fathers and everyone else who's affected, it really, she was pouring her heart out to them because, of course, Mother's Day is coming up, but also just because they've had to live through this for the past about 2 years now.
Yes, and one of those children that I interviewed at this very desk here in Flint, Mari Copney, Little Miss Flint. She is the one that wrote the letter that got President Obama to come to Flint. And we are told that meeting with Mari, the president is supposed to meet with Mari. That is on the itinerary. And just real quick, to recap the president's itinerary today, Air Force One did touch down at Flint Bishop Airport just after noon. We were told that he was going directly to the food bank of Eastern Michigan and then heading to Southwestern Academy, where he was going to have a roundtable discussion with residents here in Flint who are living through the crisis. And as of right now, we are just eagerly awaiting for President Obama to take the stage and address the Flint residents, the dignitaries who are in attendance right now, waiting to hear what President Obama has to say about the Flint water crisis.
And people here are so eager. I mean, we've seen the entire city kind of come to life, and there have been protesters outside of Northwestern High School, and of course people have been protesting for months and months and months now, trying to get something done. A lot of people see this as a sign of hope for the city, a sign that they are going to get that extra help that Mayor Karen Weaver and many others have been begging for over the last year and a half, 2 years now into this crisis. Going back to Mari, she was supposed to meet with the president. He said if she has time to fit him in. But one thing, kind of on a lighter note, that she said is she hopes that he takes her to McDonald's.
Yes.
And you were lucky enough to get to spend some time with her.
She told me she wants a sausage McGriddle and a Happy Meal if President Obama takes her to McDonald's. So stay right there. We're going to come right back. We are going to stay on Southwestern Academy, and we're going to let you know when President Obama takes the stage. Stay right here.
hospital worker convicted of a sex crime.
You said a patient grabbed your pants.
But a witness says
I walked in the room and saw Jameson committed a sexual act.
All new Dr. Phil. Today, 4 p.m. on WNEM TV5.
It's so beautiful here at Kubota Garden, isn't it? What? You're eating fish food.
We'll salute Seattle. Wheel of Fortune tonight, 7:30 p.m. on TV5.
I use what's already inside me to reach my goals. So I like when my doctor told me I may reach my blood sugar and A1C goals by activating what's within me. With once weekly Trulicity. Trulicity is not insulin. It helps activate my body to do what it's supposed to do, release its own insulin. Trulicity responds when my blood sugar rises. I take it once a week, and it works 24/7. It comes in an easy-to-use pen, and I may even lose a little weight.
Trulicity is a once-weekly injectable prescription medicine to improve blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. It should be used along with diet and exercise. Trulicity is not recommended as the first medicine to treat diabetes and should not be used by people with severe stomach or intestinal problems or people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Trulicity is not insulin and has not been studied with long-acting insulin. Do not take Trulicity if you or anyone in your family has had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you're allergic to Trulicity or its ingredients. Stop using Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of an allergic reaction such as itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. If you have signs of pancreatitis, such as severe stomach pain that will not go away and may move to your back with or without vomiting. Or if you have symptoms of thyroid cancer, which may include a lump or swelling in your neck, hoarseness, trouble swallowing, or shortness of breath. Medicines like Trulicity may cause stomach problems which could be severe. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and any medicines you take. Taking Trulicity with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase your risk for low blood sugar. Common side effects include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, decreased appetite, and indigestion. Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney failure.
With Trulicity, I click to activate what's within me.
If you want help improving your A1C and blood sugar numbers with a non-insulin option, ask your doctor about once weekly Trulicity and click to activate your within.
Welcome to the show today. Who's feeling a little...
Welcome back to our special report. We are interrupting into your regular programming right now. President Barack Obama is in the Vehicle City right now, 2 years after the switch to the Flint River water, and he is here to address the residents of Flint about the water crisis.
And as we've been talking about, you know, he is supposed to speak within the next few minutes. We've been waiting for him for a little bit, but we have seen several other people take the podium and talk a little bit about where the crisis has gone, how much money is needed, and what kind of things they're hoping come to Flint out of this presidential visit. Of course, Senator Debbie Stabenow really hoping that this will not only spur new hope, but also that there will be a resolution, some federal aid that will help Flint get back on its feet, repair the pipes. As we know, 15,000 pipes that need to be replaced. So it's going to take time and it's going to take a lot of money. And Mayor Karen Weaver, of course, pressuring lawmakers to help out $55 million and approve the Fast Start program so we can get those shovels in the ground and replace those pipes.
And let's talk about where this event is taking place right now that you're looking at. This is happening at Southwestern Academy. Several people, as Meg mentioned, Governor Snyder also taking the podium today. He was welcomed with a crowd that booed him before he took the stage. He spoke briefly, shorter than everybody else who has already taken the podium. He just apologized and said that this crisis will be fixed. Following him, after a lull, was Congressman Dan Kildee, and Kildee said Flint is a strong community and it just needs the resources to come from the folks who started this crisis, which to me was finger pointing at the state of Michigan. And so as Meg mentioned, following Congressman Kildee, we heard from Senator Debbie Stabenow. You know, she says the entire country is tuned into this crisis. Everyone is well aware of what is happening in the city of Flint, and it was not the fault of Flint residents, and she wants them to know that. She wants to reassure them that this was not any of their doing, but she says people will be held accountable for this crisis. And as we know, 3 people people have already been charged in this crisis, one of them just being charged finally today.
Yes, we've been waiting about 2 weeks for Michael Glasgow to be charged, and that happened today. So another big development in this Flint water crisis. Going back to Stabenow, she says this should have never happened. She was very insistent about that. She says she feels really sorry for all of the residents have had to endure over the last year and a half, 2 years. As you saw through Ronnie's story, I mean, he took you into his home and he showed you all that he goes through just on a daily basis so that he can get out the door and really function, just go through daily life. He has to use bottled water to brush his teeth. He has to use it to cook some breakfast. He has to use it to even shower because he showed us he thinks some of the rashes on his body are due to the Flint water crisis.
And that is what brought Governor Snyder into his home. Governor Snyder saw the story and wanted to speak with Ronnie Duncan personally and was in his home when Ronnie sat down for a one-on-one interview. So fast forward today with President Barack Obama being here in town. Let's just go over his itinerary real quick today and tell you what has happened leading up to him about to take the podium at Southwestern Academy. He landed at Flint's Bishop International Airport just after noon. He was greeted on the tarmac, as we all saw live on TV5, by Governor Snyder, by Mayor Weaver, and he got off the plane with Congressman Dan Kildee. Now from there, President Barack Obama went to the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, which we know has been crucial in supplying water for people in the city of Flint during this water crisis. And now we are here at Southwestern Academy, where we're told the president had a roundtable discussion with residents of the city of Flint to hear firsthand what they are dealing with. And now we have a crowd of over 100 people eagerly waiting President Barack Obama to take the podium and address the residents of Flint.
And speaking of those people, we saw it on our own social media feeds, but a lot of people opening these invitations, really excited that they get to go and talk with the president and tell him what they've been going through over the past year and a half, 2 years, and share their own stories, their own heartbreak, especially those parents out there, as Mayor Karen Weaver alluded to, as Senator Debbie Stabenow alluded to, that have had to not only deal with this crisis on their own, but also try to take care of their kids during this crisis, which to them, a lot of them are very angry that this was something that they had no doing. It was a man-made crisis.
All right. Well, stay right there. We are waiting for Barack Obama to take the podium. We will bring that to you when that happens. Stay right there.
And he got it.
Call 855-WE-WIN-SSD.
Been denied? Call 855-WE-WIN-SSD.
The biggest buffet is Teppanyaki Grill and Supreme Buffet. All you can eat for adults, just $7.49 for lunch and $10.49 for dinner, including holidays. Kid prices also available. It's Teppanyaki Grill and Supreme Buffet, located at 3210 Bay Road in Saginaw.
All summer long, your road to refreshment leads to Speedway. And now that Speedway's grown throughout the Midwest, Northeast, and Southeast, nobody has a handle on your summer fun better than Speedway. From the sunny shores of Florida to New York City, from the Carolinas to the New England coast, your road to refreshment leads to Speedway. And with your Speedway app, there's always a Speedway nearby and a chance to win prizes with every visit on your trip.
We're on your way to the convenience stores of Speedway.
Now, a 32-ounce Speedy Freezer fountain drink is just 99 cents.
Stu cut through the red tape and got me approved. Now I'm getting my checks.
If you want to get approved, I can help you through the entire process. Call me right now. I know what to do.
Disability is all we do. Call 810-640-5510.
CBS Tonight.
Now's the time to start scheming.
It would be smart to go to the end with Jason.
Only 3 episodes remain in this exciting and unpredictable season of Survivor.
Michelle is the next one to go. She's something good to it.
Absolutely not. Guy is not going to dictate who I vote for. Sydney is not going to be told what to do. Guy has his own agenda.
I'd like to get rid of him.
If it came down to it, would you vote with me or would you vote with them? This is a rough one.
A must-see new Survivor, CBS Tonight, or stream it live or on demand.
Call 855-WE-WIN-SSD. You may be eligible for SSD or SSI.
If you've been denied SSD, don't give up. The government could have made a mistake. Call 855-WE-WIN-SSD.
Welcome back to our special report. We are interrupting your regular programming right now. President Barack Obama is in the Vehicle City right now, about to address a crowd of people at Flint's Northwestern High School. I want to just correct real quick. I've been saying Southwestern Academy, but he's actually at Flint's Northwestern. I was out at Southwestern Academy earlier today as I watched the motorcade drive by on eastbound I-69, and so that's why I've been saying Southwestern, but he's actually at Northwestern High School right now. But we are waiting for him to take the podium to address the residents of the city of Flint. A big crowd has gathered there to hear President Barack Obama.
And speaking of you being out at Southwestern, if you'd like to, our Facebook page, David has been updating it all day long with video of the motorcade, video of Air Force One coming in. Even Andrew Keller has taken some pictures. So if you'd like, go to our Facebook page. We posted those there. Flint Bishop International Airport on its own page, which we actually shared onto our own page. They shared a video pretty close up of Air Force One rolling down the tarmac. So if you'd like to check those out, just make sure you head to our Facebook page. But we've been waiting since it's about 3:44 now. So we've been waiting about 15 minutes or so since the other speakers left to see President Barack Obama, see what he has to say. We're hoping he goes on within the next about 10 minutes. He is scheduled to leave out of Bishop at about 4:55 this evening, so we're going to be staying on this all evening long. Of course, everyone is eager to see what he has to say. It's been a very exciting time, I think, for the city of Flint. Residents have been very excited to see what he has to say and what he's going to bring to the table. As Mayor Karen Weaver said, she's hoping that he can bring them hope and tell them, hey, you are not forgotten in this fight to get clean drinking water.
And we must not forget why President Barack Obama is in the city of Flint. He is here because there is a Flint water crisis. Now, there may be a lot of excitement and people are eager to see, but he is here to talk to the people, to the residents who are living this Flint water crisis day in and day out. Now, we've already seen several people already take the podium, as Meg had mentioned, as we are waiting now for President Barack Obama to take the podium. But it started with Governor Rick Snyder. As we know, a lot of finger pointing towards the state and Governor Snyder and his administration for the Flint water crisis. And that was apparent when Governor Snyder took the podium at Northwestern. He was welcomed with boos. The crowd just erupted in booing. It went on for over 30 seconds before the governor was even able to speak. But he kept it very short and he kept it brief. And he said again, as he has said many times, that he apologized for the Flint water crisis, but he did say that they are going to fix it. Well, he was followed by our congressman here in Flint, Congressman Dan Kildee, but there was a gap between Governor Snyder speaking and Congressman Kildee speaking. And again, Governor Snyder was followed with boos after he was done speaking. But when Congressman Kildee took the podium, he wanted everyone to know and remind everyone that Flint is strong. Flint has been through a lot of things over the last few decades, but he wanted people to know that they will get through this as long as they have the resources to fix this crisis.
And Senator Debbie Stabenow followed Congressman Kildee, and she reiterated that. She said, yes, Flint is a strong community, but it needs the resources so that it can get over this hurdle and make sure there's a solution. She said, again, it's no one's fault, none of the residents' fault here in Flint. They should have never had to go through this situation, and everybody in Flint matters, from the adults to the children. She says we need to stay focused on this Flint water crisis so that there is a solution, so that those shovels can go into the ground, the pipes can get replaced, and people will eventually be able to live with clean water that isn't tainted with lead, so they can bathe their children in the water, so that they can drink water right out of the tap without having to worry. She also touched on the expanded health care and additional access to healthy foods. She even pushed something which was a little bit off topic from the Flint water crisis. However, as we've been reporting over the last few months, many doctors have said there are nutritious, healthy foods that can help kind of abate the symptoms of lead poisoning, having lead in your blood. and she said there needs to be a grocery store in North Flint. And of course, she ended her speech with those who are responsible need to be held accountable. And we saw some of that today and over the past 2 weeks when the Attorney General said, hey, we're going to charge the first 3 people in the Flint water crisis, Stephen Bush, Mike Prisby, and Michael Glasgow. Glasgow was finally charged today. We've been waiting to hear when he was going to be charged. So first 3 people have been charged, and of course, the Attorney General promised there will be more.
And as Senator Stabenow said, she wanted everyone to know that Flint is not alone in this crisis, and people will be held accountable, as we just learned today with Michael Glasgow finally being arraigned. But Mayor Weaver said that this problem is much bigger than Flint, and it could handle, Flint could handle itself, and that's why the president is here today in the Vehicle City. Now, I believe we were just told by our producer that Barack Obama has taken the podium at Northwestern. Okay, I want to stand corrected. Our producer just informed me that the presidential seal has been placed on the podium, so we are obviously just moments away from President Barack Obama taking the podium. But I want to reiterate again Mayor Weaver, what she had to say, following what Senator Stabenow said about people being held accountable. She said that this is a problem that Flint can't handle on its own, and that's why they're looking to the state and they are looking to the federal government. She said that she wants every lead pipe in this city replaced, but she needs the $55 million to replace all of those lead pipes as part of her Fast Start program. So that, again, is why the federal government is in the Vehicle City today. So we want you to stay with us right here. Again, the presidential seal has been placed on the podium at Flint Northwestern High School. We are waiting President Barack Obama to take that podium and address the residents of Flint. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Wipes with micro scrubbers. Scrub away even the toughest dried-on messes. Take back your surfaces with Clorox disinfecting wipes.
Join Eric Gila and TV5 viewers on a fantastic tour to Paris and Normandy, October 15th to the 23rd. To learn more, attend one of our free travel shows, Tuesday, May 10th at the Saginaw Country Inn and Suites. Wednesday, May 11th, we'll meet at the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center in Bay City and the Midland Hampton Inn. We'll also meet Thursday, May 12th at the Flint Holiday Inn. For more information, call Holiday Vacations at 1-800-826-2266.
Swerved over a double yellow line and hit me head on. I was in the hospital 6 weeks.
Stories like these begin with the devastating actions of a reckless driver. At J Trucks & Associates, these stories often end with clients getting the money they need to protect their future.
They took care of everything for me.
Welcome back to our special report. Of course, President Obama is about to take the stage and give his speech that many have been anxiously awaiting for about the Flint water crisis. People all over the city of Flint really eager to hear what he has to say, if he's going to be bringing more aid to the city in the fight to get clean drinking water.
And several dignitaries are on hand with President Barack Obama at Flint Northwestern High School. So far, we have seen Governor Rick Snyder take the podium. We have seen Senator Debbie Stabenow, Congressman Dan Kildee, and of course Flint's Mayor Karen Weaver also spoke, and she wanted to remind everybody why the president is here and in town right now, because this crisis in the city of Flint, she says, is much bigger than the city can handle itself, and she needs help from the state and federal government for the residents of the city of Flint to get through this crisis. And one of the things she has been hammering for quite a while now is to get federal dollars to, get her Fast Start program to replace the lead service lines within the city of Flint so there is clean, safe drinking water for all residents here in the city of Flint.
And she said it's not only financial that she's hoping the president brings to Flint, but hopefully spurring new hope. I mean, we are going into year 3. I mean, we already had the 2nd anniversary of the switch to the Flint River. She's hoping that the president can spur new hope in this fight to get clean water, to finally rid the water lines of lead. And of course, she wants all of the lines replaced, even though some others have said it could be fixed if they build up that coating again. However, she's she's insistent Flint residents deserve to have new pipes because she thinks they shouldn't have to live knowing that they have those same pipes in the ground. So stay with us. We're going to hopefully have the president on the stage in just a few moments.
Channels in free HD, free prime time on demand, lets me binge incessantly, and I like to take my entertainment everywhere I go. Into the bedroom, to the backyard, to the kitchen flow. Living the connected life is Spectrum Triple Play. It's life without limits, y'all, every day. I got the internet, voice, TV for $29.99 a month. You'll see. Just call 1-844-644-2999. At 60 megs, I got all the web I can handle. I write a blog about scented candles. No data cache when my device is at the max speed. Now my cat is blowing up my social feed. Living the connected life is Spectrum Triple Play. You know they got me covered in every way. I got the internet, voice, and TV for $29.99 a month. You'll see. Just call 1-844-644-2999. Yeah, I don't like to talk a little. I like to talk a lot. Unlimited calling to everyone around the clock. Living the connected life is Spectrum Triple Play. No hidden fees, no contracts. Call today. 1-844-644-2999.
Painting season is here. Give your house, interior and exterior, a fresh new look from Northeastern Paint Supply, featuring Benjamin Moore paints and stains. Northeastern Paint Supply has been helping people with the best paints and best advice anywhere for over 50 years. Brighten up your home. Brighten up your life at Northeastern Paint Supply, McCarty Road, Saginaw, North Euclid Bay City, and Eastman Road in Midland. And visit us online at northeasternpaint.com.
Are you a Christian author with a book ready to share with the world but need a publisher? You're not alone. Christian Faith Publishing cuts through the confusion. We'll handle all of the complicated issues like copyright, barcodes, digital conversions, and more. We'll place your book for sale at all major mainstream booksellers like Amazon, Apple, Google, and Barnes & Noble, offering it to millions. We do it all.
Call for your free author submission kit at 1-800-658-6386.
Welcome back to our special report. President Barack Obama in the vehicle city in Flint right now. We are waiting for him to take the stage at Flint Northwestern High School. The presidential seal has been placed on the podium. We know that we are just minutes away from the president addressing the residents of the city of Flint about the Flint water crisis.
And our executive producer has been telling us his scheduled time is 3:55, and it is 3:55 now. So again, just moments away from him taking the stage, and people really eager. I know we keep saying this, but people are so eager to hear what he has to say because they have been struggling through this water crisis, trying to live a daily life when they can't even turn on their faucet and use the water. So hopefully we'll be able to hear from him what his plans are for the city, and as Karen Weaver has been saying, hopefully he will be able to spur new hope for residents in this fight to get clean water.
And so far, we've already seen Governor Rick Snyder take the podium, Congressman Dan Kildee, Senator Debbie Stabenow, as Meg just had mentioned, Flint Mayor Karen Weaver, who wanted everybody to know that Flint couldn't handle this crisis on their own, and that is why President Barack Obama is in town today. We also know that President Barack Obama is in town because Little Miss Flint, 8-year-old Mari Copney, wrote him a letter talking about the struggles she faces every single day living through the water crisis. And lo and behold, the White House wrote her back and said one of the first people to actually find out, she and her mom, that President Barack Obama would be in town today to address the Flint water crisis. So far on his agenda, he has visited the Eastern Food Bank of Michigan so far, and now he is at Flint Northwestern, where he had a roundtable discussion with residents of the city of Flint, and now we are just waiting for him to take the podium to address the crowd that has gathered there right now.
And of course, many people have been hoping to get to talk with the president, not only to tell them about their experiences, but other people's experiences, what they think Flint needs. The president did allude in his letter back to Mari that he would love to meet Little Miss Flint, if of course she can fit it in. She's been doing a lot of media media spots in the past few days, but he said he would love to meet with Mari. Governor Snyder said he would love to meet with President Obama and Mayor Karen Weaver in private so that they can talk about what Flint needs, and I'm sure Mayor Karen Weaver, we do not know yet if they have been able to have that meeting in private. He's had a very packed agenda. However, Mayor Karen Weaver has been pressing that she really wants her Fast Start program approved because that $55 million would go toward getting the shovels in the ground, getting those pipes ripped up and replaced so that people can eventually have peace of mind knowing that the water coming out of their taps is lead-free. They can bathe their babies in it. They can brush their teeth. They can just live daily life without that fear of their babies or themselves ingesting lead.
And to talk about those meetings that you mentioned, those private meetings that people were asking to meet with President Obama, we can tell you what we did see live on the air on TV5 earlier today when President Obama stepped off of Air Force One. He was with Congressman Kildee, but on the tarmac, we did see Governor Snyder, we did see Senator Stabenow, and we saw Mayor Weaver, who all greeted President Obama when he got to the bottom of the steps after getting off of Air Force One. Now, we do not know from what had happened there if they did have those private meetings. We know that Governor Snyder did request a meeting with President Barack Obama, as Meg had just mentioned, but we are waiting now. We do know that all of them traveled to Flint Northwestern, where they all are now, because several of them have taken the podium and have addressed the crowd. Just to reiterate some of those things, Governor Snyder was greeted with boos from the audience, and he kept his message brief, very short, just wanted to apologize to the people that had gathered there for the Flint water crisis. He said that they were going to fix it. He was followed by Congressman Kildee, who said, Flint is strong. We will get through this as long as we are given the resources to fix the Flint water crisis. And then, as Meg had just mentioned, Senator Debbie Stabenow wanted everyone to know that this was not the people of Flint's fault. The crisis did not happen because of them, but it was a man-made crisis, and that they are not alone, that the entire country is behind them, and they are working to solve this problem. And then, of course, Mayor Weaver did follow Senator Stabenow, asking again for the money to start the Fast Start program to replace those lead service lines.
And no doubt, no matter what the president does say today, there's going to be some time. If all of those pipes do get replaced, that takes time. As Virginia Tech professor Mark Edwards has been saying, it can't be a quick fix, because if you try to fix it too quickly, if you try to just replace a few of the lead service lines, you could end up with a much bigger problem, a much more expensive problem. And as we know, Mayor Karen Weaver has already said this could cost over $1 billion to fix all of these pipes, rip them up and replace them. So no matter what he does say today, we do know there is going to be quite some time before this is behind Flint, and is also why Mayor Karen Weaver hopes that this speech from President Obama, his visit to Flint, will spur new hope, because people have been waiting for 2 years now to get clean drinking water back into their households so that they can resume a more normal life.
And let's fast forward to what you're looking at right now. There is a crowd that is gathered at Flint Northwestern High School. We are waiting for President Barack Obama to take the podium here at this high school. Part of his agenda, it was released. We all knew that this was one of his stops today. He came from the food bank of Eastern Michigan. As many people know, that has been the front line for supplying water to the people in the city of Flint, people living off of bottled water, things that you may not even realize or would take advantage of. Brushing your teeth. You know, I interviewed a family in Flint, a family of 6 who goes through nearly 200 bottles of water every single day. They're too afraid to even bathe in it. One of their children has scars on his arms from rashes from bathing in the Flint water. And sadly, this family is so afraid of depleting their supply of bottled water that they use baby wipes every other day to bathe. So people are really affected by this water crisis. So the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan has been crucial to supplying water to residents here in the city of Flint, because when you go through 200 bottles of water every single day just for your family, we need bottled water here in the city of Flint, and that was one of Barack Obama's stops today, was to go see firsthand how federal dollars are even being used to assist the food bank of Eastern Michigan.
And speaking of all those bottles of water, Lulu, who is Mari Kopney's mother, she tweeted out a few weeks ago over Easter weekend, it took her more than 100 bottles of water to prepare Easter dinner. And for us, I mean, it is hard to imagine. I live up in Frankenmuth. It is hard to imagine going through that, trying to make a meal, trying to brush your teeth, trying to shower, and having to do all of these other steps. Make sure you go out and get the water. Make sure you're opening all those packs. Make sure you're, putting them in the fridge. It's such a process. And I mean, David, you also know, because you do live in the city of Flint, how it's been for yourself and so many residents. We've been hearing from dozens and dozens and dozens of you how tough this has been to live through, because you, again, can't really go about life like you used to be able to.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And again, it is hard for us to imagine. I know when I was packing up to come down to our Flint Bureau today, I had to make sure, I have to bring my own water.
Yeah.
Because we won't be able to use it out of our Flint Bureau. And we're going to see what President Obama has to say, if he's going to provide any of that federal aid to the city of Flint so that they can get this process underway and really put the shovels into the ground and give people new hope.
That's right. And I don't think people can really understand the magnitude of what it's like to live off bottled water. I'm sorry, our producer was just speaking to us right now to let us know that it will be a couple minutes before Barack Obama takes the stage. But to go back onto that point of what it's like living on this bottled water life, that's what I have been calling it. It's a new way of life. It's a bottled water life. Even going out of town this past weekend, which I did, I got home and thought, I don't have any bottled water. I had to head out to the store, which, as we know, Flint has become a little bit of a food desert. It is hard. We don't have access to grocery stores right now. Getting home Sunday night late, I had to go drive out of the city into Burton to pick up a couple of cases of water. I go through myself, just alone, 5 cases of water. Now imagine your entire family living off bottled water, as we showcased that family in Flint with the 200 bottles every single day, brushing their teeth, bathing, too afraid to drink the water, cooking with the water, filling pots with bottles of water just so you can boil some pasta, so you can have dinner, washing your hands with bottles of water. A huge inconvenience.
And you know what? This, for some families, they've decided, for myself, for my children, I don't want to even have to deal with that anymore. And they've moved out of the city of Flint so that they don't have to worry about the water coming out of their taps. One of those cases is Sincere, who was on the cover of Time. You saw the rashes on his face. And his mother, who just had a baby, actually, moved out and is now living with, I believe, some relatives. Ronnie Duncan actually covered that story for us. And because, again, it's just so tough to not only make sure that your kids are drinking bottled water and that they are being bathed in clean water, but also yourself. And so a lot of residents, I've seen it all over Facebook and social media, that they have moved out or have been thinking about moving out of the city of Flint because it is so tough to live through this crisis, something that a lot of us take for granted. Water coming out of our taps, such a basic necessity.
Now, we know that hundreds of people have gathered to hear what President Barack Obama has to say, but we have touched on this many times, and we know that even Ronnie has talked about this with Governor Snyder. There is a huge trust factor for these residents in the city of Flint who are living this day in and day out, living off bottled water. The trust has depleted with their elected officials and their leaders that they are okay to bathe in the water. We're told we're okay to bathe in the water, and then we have children who are getting rashes. So there's a huge trust factor, and people, it's going to take time as well. Congressman Kildee even touched on this. It's going to take time for the residents of the city of Flint to trust their leaders again, and one way to do that, he says, is to see some action, to see those pipes being moved throughout the city. Mayor Weaver today, again, saying she needs $55 million to start digging up those lead service lines and replacing them throughout the entire city. Now, she did say in the next coming 2 or 3 weeks that they plan on pulling out 500 to 600 lead service lines. She did say that today at the podium, but that is just a small factor. That is just a portion of the entire city of Flint when you're talking thousands of lead service lines that need to be pulled and replaced in the city.
Yes, and speaking of that trust factor, that is why Mayor Karen Weaver is pushing for this $55 million to replace all of those lead lines, because she says people are not going to be able to trust what is coming out of their taps if they know these same pipes have sickened them, have given them rashes, have put them through this turmoil for the last 2 years. So she says trust not only needs to be built up, but to give these residents the peace of mind that they deserve, because they've been going through this crisis that they did not deserve. She thinks that we do need to get those shovels in the ground and make sure that all of those pipes are replaced. And again, we are waiting for President Barack Obama. We were told probably about 10 minutes ago that he was supposed to already be on the stage. But again, it's moments away. They already put the presidential seal on the podium, as you can see there. And we've been covering this all day long. He landed shortly before noon today. And of course, as you could see, the motorcade came in yesterday, as David showed us on Facebook through his own video. The motorcade passed by Southwestern earlier today, taking Barack all over Flint to meet with residents and be able to hear their concerns and their experiences.
And as we often know that they do stray from the itinerary, you know, things don't happen as quickly as they had planned. President Barack Obama was supposed to take the podium at 3:55, and we have been told that Air Force One will be leaving Flint's Bishop Airport at 4:55. Here we are now, 10 minutes after 4 o'clock, and we still are waiting President Barack Obama to take the podium to address the residents in the city of Flint. So, you know, things could be a little behind on the president's agenda. We do know that before the leaders started taking the podium, that he was meeting in a roundtable discussion with the residents of the city of Flint. Now, our producer just informs us that President Barack Obama has entered into the room to cheers right now. So we're going to let you listen in and listen to President Barack Obama.
Hello, Flint. How's it going, Wildcats?